Hey, everybody. We should be live now. Hey, everyone. Got Nick on from Mr. Cashley. And is that your actual geocaching name, or is that just Mr. Cashley because you're having fun?
That's my geocaching name.
Your geocaching name is Mr. Cashley?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
I never knew your caching name. Well, that's
Yeah.
nice.
And my wife is Mrs. Cashley.
That is amazing.
When did you change? Has it been like that always? When did you change your name?
For quite a few years. It's probably at least 4 years.
I don't think I've ever asked you on this show what your caching name is.
Yeah. Well, I always tell people don't look it up because I only have like 120 finds because I spend all my time working on Cashley. So all my beta testers and users go out and do the finds, and I just work on Cashley. So and do a couple finds with my family when we're on vacation.
Oh, that's good. Let's get that in. All right, let's start this show. Nick, I'm gonna throw you on mute. All right.
All right.
Hold on a sec. Mute. All right, Nick is on mute. Chad, you ready to go?
Yep.
Yes, you ready to go?
Sure.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache, geocache. If you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8:30, which means it's once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Birch. We have our co-host Short, and it's in the next room.
Hello.
Hello. And please welcome to my virtual left, my other co-host, Jazz Force 27.
Howdy, y'all. Let's talk Cashley.
That's right, guys. Tonight's episode 814, recorded live on April 24th, 2024, is the Cashley 8.0 discussion. Phone lines are unfortunately not open tonight because it's an informational show. And, if you have a question, put it in the chat room. But you can help us out any way you can by sharing all your information or questions you have in the chat room. But first, Chad, before we get to Nick and everything Cashley has to offer. By the way, I've got my Cashley mug, Chad, with coffee in it. It's a Cashley mug.
Cashley mug.
Mug.
I don't have a Cashley mug.
And
I have a podcast mug.
No idea how I got this mug. No idea. Jess, you have any clue how we got this mug? Any idea?
I'm guessing we bought it.
Yeah, do we? Nick's on mute.
I bought it.
Nick,
I bought a shirt.
Did you sell these at one point in your?
You can still buy them.
Can you really? Oh,
you can actually buy them directly from the app now.
Oh,
I noticed that.
And Nick's nodding affirmative for our listeners.
So yes, I'm drinking my coffee out of a Cashley mug tonight. And guys, Patreon. Sorry, there's a little plug. Patreon, guys. Speaking of money, you can help us out. We'd really, really appreciate it. There's 2 ways you can help us out. First one is you go to PayPal. You go to paypal.me. That's PayPal.me/the Geocaching Podcast. You make a one-time donation. Doesn't matter what it is. It goes straight to the bills. We really appreciate it. But better yet, Chad, better than making a one-time donation is you join Patreon, Chad.
Ooh, get anything with that?
You do. You get extra audio, extra video only available to our Patreon members. You get stickers and tags and coins and pins and path tags and end of the year giveaway show, patron shows, all that good stuff. We have 5 years worth of stuff up there behind the paywall. Lots of good stuff for you guys. So if you want to join, and you can, and we'd really appreciate it. Tiers start as low as $5 a month. If you want to help us, you can go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Tonight's show is not only about Cashley, but is also brought to you by Cashley. Cashley is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filter searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cashley has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more info at cashley.com. That's CACHLY.com.
Tonight, we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbook designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go cache than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Maxwell's Body Company. Maxwell's Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Bee Gone soap, itch spray, and 2 scent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Maxwell's Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxwellsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And by Arted Crafted. Arted Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your geocaching group. With adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL, if you have an idea for a shirt design and cannot find it, then you've gone to the right place. Give them the opportunity to show you how they can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit them at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com.
And by pattags.com for all your swag and pat tag needs. Visit our website to get creative help, to trade our log tags, or to purchase your own personalized pat tags. With over 50,000 tags to collect, pattags.com is everything you need to start your pat tag obsession. Visit them at pattags.com. That's PATHTAGS.com.
And by Geocaching Adventures LLC. Geocaching Adventures is a full-service travel agency specializing in creating the ultimate worldwide geocaching adventures for cachers and non-cachers alike. What could be better than having your geocaching bucket list vacation all planned and led by a traveling expert? Learn more by visiting us at geocachingadventuresllc.com. That's geocachingadventuresllc.com.
And finally, by GeoGo. Go caching with GeoGo, the geocaching app for Android that includes a Where I Go player, trackable scanner, companion watch app, and county finds database. If you're an advanced geocacher, GeoGo helps with powerful features like nearby cache notifications, optimized routes, offline mode, bulk TV logging, and much more. Learn more by visiting them at geogo.com. That's GEOOH-go.com.
And as always, you can find links to our sponsors on our website or chat. You're on mute, Chad.
Or in our show notes. Said again, off mute.
In our show notes.
Hey.
Guys, tonight.
That's Shortinet's job, being on mute and talking.
That's usually me, right?
Tonight, guys, we have got Nick Hubbard on the show. Nick, welcome. Hello.
Thank you.
I'm going to waste no time
me.
bringing in. I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very good. You know, before we start the show, I think I've said this before on the show, but I'm going to say it again because you're here. When we rebranded the show in 2018, we brought in new sponsors and all that. And what you guys probably don't even realize is that like the list of sponsors that we have is literally the list of sponsors as they came in. So
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they are the list. So like, yeah. So our first sponsor ever was Nick. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. To this day too. How about that? Thank you so much, buddy.
Absolutely.
You are our first.
That's good. Good to hear.
I don't know if I've ever said that or not, but yeah, that's how that list is. And I just literally just add to it whenever we got a new one. But like, yeah, you hold the first spot because you are our first. So we much appreciate that, Nick. But hey, Cachly 8.0. We've been waiting for it a long time.
Yeah.
How long?
A lot of people have. I myself have been waiting for it for a long time.
And now people are waiting for 8.1 already.
That's true. That's true. I had some people already asking when the release date for that was. And
do you have a release date for that?
No. I have just barely touched the code for that one. That's the truth.
So Ash, Cachly 8.0 came out 2 weeks ago, last week. When did it come out?
April 8th, I think.
April 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A little more than 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, a little more than 2 weeks. I have used it just because I've gone out and cached. Jesse has used it.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Good news, it still works. Well done.
Glad to hear. Yeah.
Chad, have you used it yet? Have you taken the
I don't have an iPhone. So.
I know you don't have an iPhone, but didn't you have a
I had
an iPod or does it not even work?
I was gifted an iPhone, an old iPhone from
Right.
C. Michelle.
Right.
And I could never get the thing to properly work with getting it registered. So it's like
The phone?
I gave up. So getting it, so it would never get properly registered. So I gave up. I paid money at a shop to get it, make it. I'm not sure what the Apple's registration process is, but
It's not that difficult. Jeff.
so
It's not that hard.
and every time I'd turn it on, it would say, it's not a valid registered device, and
Really?
so it's
Hmm.
like
Maybe it was a jailbroken phone or something like that, and they didn't like that.
possibly, and
Okay.
so it's like, it's like I'm not dealing with it. One day, if the Wi-Fi version of the iPad Mini includes GPS, then I will get one.
Do they still make the iPad Mini? I
Um,
don't know if those are still going. Jess, you have any idea if those are still going? Remember the iPad Mini?
I do remember the iPad Mini.
I
don't
thought that
know.
also
have no idea,
they
honestly.
continued those. Could be wrong.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I haven't shopped for an iPad in several years.
Several years. God, we
But you're
lived-
right. Only the cellular ones have GPS, right?
the
iPad?
last
so.
I checked, yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk Cashly 8.0. Nick, what's new? Talk about what's new. Go ahead. Yeah, fine.
Sure. Well, the biggest thing and the thing that I advertised the most was Cashly Pro.
Cashly Pro.
So that is a new set of features and continuing features in future versions. They are part of a subscription, but that really goes to help development and to help with server costs and bandwidth and all those great things. So whole new suite of features, and that starts out with Pro Offline Maps. So those have been renamed. There's a lot of new features, things like new design, world land cover. So trying to bring it into line with Google Maps and Apple Maps as far as design and how it looks throughout all the zoom levels. So that's something I'm continuing to work on. Has things like bold colors, which is very similar to the UK's Ordnance Survey maps. So I built that especially for UK users because they really like the government maps, which are Ordnance Survey. And so I made the colors and the style the same. So that's actually a default in the UK. If you have offline maps in the UK, it'll be on by default. US users can turn that on as well, but it draws the streets and trails and things like that in different colors than we're used to. Yeah. So, and a couple of things that I really wanted that I built in for my own personal use for when I go hiking and backpacking.
That's so selfish of you.
Yeah, it's very selfish. Is trail links, labels for trail links, so you can
That
actually
is
know how
really
long
cool.
a trail is that you're hiking on.
Oh, nice.
That's a very nice feature. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
I can think of many situations where that would have been very handy to have. Oh, it's just right there. Oh, whoops.
Well, it's actually 3 miles.
Yeah, 3 miles there and 3 miles back.
It looks so close on my phone, though.
Yeah. So those, and also trail colors and symbols. So some, especially European countries, have trail systems that have different coloring for the trails, and also then symbols for the trails. They indicate different things like difficulty and maybe how far they go, different things like that. So we pull that data from OpenStreetMaps, and then you can turn that layer on or turn it off. It's on by default. But again, a lot of users requested that. So that is part of Cashly now. So those are some of the biggest changes for the offline maps portion of Pro.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that was what OSM used because I like their maps for offline maps.
Yeah,
and yeah, they're very distinct way to identify trails versus roads versus everything else.
Yeah. And in OpenStreetMaps, there's something called OSMC symbol. That's the data point that I pull it from. So anybody can actually update trails, even in the US, with these symbols if they want to, because there is some trail systems, especially on the East Coast, that use this kind of coloring system and symbols. So, yeah. And again, these Pro Offline maps are similar in the sense to the previous maps that they're worldwide. and the users that subscribe to it are, they can unlimited download any of the maps that they want. And then they're continually being updated. I have two map servers that continually to generate different maps, and things like the US, Germany, Canada, UK, Switzerland, some of the higher usage countries get regenerated every 2 weeks, and then the rest of the world about a month, every month. So that's kind of the cycle that they're on.
I know you were having an issue with that, with the offline maps, with people getting a little peeved about that.
Which part?
Seeing on social media.
Oh,
a couple of
yeah.
days.
Yeah. So there's, in hindsight, there's things that I wish that, at the launch I had done differently. And the one little thing with that was that people that had previously paid for what we used to call premium offline maps, it was an in-app purchase for $2.99. I really wanted to have a new subscription service to help pay for all the costs that go into offline maps. And there's a lot. There's bandwidth, there's server hosting fees, and then there's the multiple servers to generate the maps. And that was getting to be so much of a cost that Cachly was losing money. And at one point I considered, is it worth it to keep it running? So I needed a different revenue model, not because, I just wanted, it was a money grab or anything like that. It was just that it wasn't sustainable.
Sure.
So that's where I came up with the idea with Cachly Pro, and that we could, introduce a lot of new features and have a subscription for that. But again, back to my point about previous people that paid for offline maps, I made the mistake of saying, if you had previously purchased them, you'll still need to get a new subscription, that you could use the maps that are currently on your device, and you can use those forever. But if you need to update or download new ones, then you'd have to join the subscription. So some people were fine with that. Some people were supportive of that. But I think a lot of users, through feedback to me, through on Facebook, through user reviews on the App Store, really made it clear that that was the wrong choice. So I'm happy to listen to users, and I admit that was the wrong choice. So in 8.0.3, we reversed that. And so anybody who had a previous map purchase can have the Pro offline maps. Basically the same thing as a subscription, nothing different. So they don't need to pay anything additional or be behind the subscription. So, yeah. So, most people have now updated to that. I think I released that on Monday.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
And then all the people that had kind of sent in negative questions about that to my support email and stuff, I made sure to follow up with everybody and let them know that I had made the change, and please go update to 8.0.3. So
hindsight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do users need to pull new maps, or do you push when you generate them? Do you push them out to users with the service?
They need to go and download them and do new updates. So I think the issue with pushing them to people would be that they wouldn't be asking for putting additional data on their device, because OpenStreetMap is always updating. So the files do continue to get a little bit larger every time. So yeah, it's a manual thing. And I mean, to be honest, if I pushed maps to every user, the bandwidth cost would be quite high to continue to do that. So just from that standpoint, I wouldn't choose to do that. So, but some users recently have requested, I thought about it in the past, is having a little indicator somehow saying that there's a new map update available. So not every 2 weeks, like how often I generate them, but maybe once a quarter, say, hey, you have a map currently on your phone that has an update, tap here to download the update to the map. So that's something I'm considering.
That would be useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nick, for realizing that issue and rectifying it for the users. You've always been a user focused builder.
Absolutely. I mean, so many of the features in Cachly have come from user suggestions. So I really do like to listen to my users and hear their feedback and really take it to heart, not just ignore it. So yeah, I appreciate people reaching out about that, even if some were very mad.
Anybody really quick in the chat? I know we got a loaded chat room here. Anybody have a question? Feel free to type it out. I'm gathering a list of questions for Nick a little later in the show. So if you have a question for Nick, feel free to throw it in the chat room, and we will get that answered. Absolutely. Nick, one of the things I know Jesse was waiting for and finally got was the Delorme map addition to it.
Yes.
Jesse, you did play around with it the last week, I think.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think of it?
Oh, I think it's awesome. Yeah, the counties and the DeLorme
Yep.
pages by state, you can see what you've found, what you still need, and then you can look at the live caches with that overlay on it, so you can see,
Yep.
very clearly what you need, what you don't need, and that is an absolutely awesome feature. Very useful.
Yeah, and for the DeLormes, some people that weren't familiar with it, they're like, "Hey, why isn't there a challenge for my state?"
Mhm.
It's missing
Sure.
a bunch of them, and
They
I think
don't know
people
the
were just
history.
thinking it was every single state in the United States that had, should have a map for it. And
Yeah.
there probably is a book for every state, but there wasn't a challenge that was created
Right.
for every state. So
Right.
that's why the only thing we were missing the Texas challenge. So I added that, I think, in 8.0.2. So I added that.
Yeah.
So there were some small bugs like that I've worked to fix. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely not a challenge for every US state.
Right. And there's different versions of the map too. So like Illinois, I've completed and I meet that and I have logged the challenge, but the Cashly version says I don't meet it because of discrepancies in pages
Yeah.
and different versions and all of that. So just one thing for
Good
people to
sound
keep in
effect.
mind, it is not the like be all end all, right? There's always different versions. And so my advice is just double check.
Yeah, and I think what I'm going to work on is bringing in some of those various versions. So I might have both of the Illinois
Mhm.
versions, and so you could see which ones you've completed. So
Right.
So it's interesting. So Jesse, we were working off of which one? We were working off of the book, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had the book and our book matches what's on Project GC or it has to match what's
I
on
don't think Project GC has a checker for DeLorme. Do they?
Yeah, it has to because
How else would we have checked?
I don't
it?
think so. It's a US based challenge. So I'm
Challenge?
pretty sure I was just Googling for that the other day.
All right, I'm gonna go find that.
Yeah. I know that my
I'm curious, 'cause
geocachingprofile.com, that's where I've tested it before. They have a whole checker for that generates.
Oh, my geocaching. Maybe it is under my geocaching profile. Jess.
Maybe that
Yeah.
is where it is. I can't remember. Whatever it was, I got
Yeah.
the solid. Oh yeah, no, it is. Here, let's see. Illinois.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive, that
DeLorme.
my geocaching profile.
Yeah, it's here. The Project GC, the Illinois DeLorme challenge.
I apologize, I was wrong.
Yeah. I'm like, I know I verified somewhere
I'm
because
sorry.
no. Yeah,
Oh,
so
Nick,
it
it's been
does.
great having you on the show, Nick. Well,
So anyway, there are just there's different versions, so people just need to remember that.
Yeah, make sure about that. Yeah, and some people pointed out, this is a US only feature, and they said, oh well, Pro doesn't have as many features for people outside the United States. Well, that wasn't the intention. It was just to add a feature that a lot of people had requested. So that's why it's in there.
interesting.
Yeah.
So
but the
okay.
counties and regions, that is multiple countries. So
Sure.
and I can easily add more. So that's in the works, adding additional countries for places that are popular for geocaching.
Mhm.
But will that become an issue, Jess? Like you say, like on Cashly, we don't meet it, but
Mhm.
in the book and on Project GC, we do meet it.
Mhm. Well, you just have to double check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, it's a great tool, but not every tool is perfect. And there's even checkers on Project GC that are not correct. There's challenges that it tells me I don't qualify for that I know I do because I worked it out manually or
Yeah.
vice versa.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, the problem is there's no like authoritative source of that data.
Right.
So one of my beta testers, Rich Reagan, is awesome. He actually had a JavaScript overlay for, I think, Chrome that he built, and so that's where he had worked it all out for the various challenges, and then he gave me the data for that. So that's where it's incorporated in Cashly. But we can continue to refine and make it even better. If we're a little bit off on the coordinates or something like that, I will continue to update that. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Counties and regions.
Yeah.
Let's
So
talk about
that essentially uses kind of the same programming as the DeLorme challenge, because it's really just taking a geometric shape that is placed on a map, and you're checking if there's a cache, a certain coordinate inside of that.
Mhm.
So currently we have that for Australia, Austria, France, Germany, United Kingdom, and United States. So obviously we call them counties, United States, in most states,
Mhm.
and most other places they call them regions. So yeah, it's a checker for that, and just a good way to see if you found all your counties or regions in your area.
Jess, have you loaded ours into this?
Yes.
I have not.
Day one.
And does everything match there, Jess? Have we found
the-
all the counties in Illinois? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I have not compared every state, but the two that we have 100% completed do show completed, so
Okay,
we're
good.
good
Yeah,
there.
there was a few one user that emailed me and said, "Hey, there's this geocaching code isn't showing up in Cachly, but in Project GC it does." And it was like right on the county line.
Yeah.
So it's like literally they're using just like one little coordinate
Mhm.
different, and their maps are
Mhm.
slid over. Mine are a little bit different. So
Mhm.
I think it's hard to get them exactly the same when somebody's placed it on the county line.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the Texas Challenge, I know they're the owner of the Texas Challenge is very persnickety about being right there, and there at least were some caches that were you physically go past the sign that says the county line, but
Really?
that's not the count, and that's not the
Mhm.
county line. It's like another 50 feet, and
Okay.
the cache was placed right after the sign, and it's like, nope, it doesn't count.
Oh, so you need to be like a surveyor to know where the
Yeah,
line is, basically.
yes. Or just make sure you're a couple hundred feet inside. You're
Yeah.
a few hundred feet inside, and you're probably good. But if you're not a few hundred feet inside, go find another cache.
Yeah. Yeah. No
I'm
kidding.
I'm going to post right now in the chat room, and for everybody who's listening at work or next week or 3 weeks, it's in our show notes. It is actually the help.cassie.com website where you and it is listing all of the what's new in 8.0, so which is what
Yes.
we're working off of right now. Speaking of that, I got an interesting so from social media, Nick.
Yes.
I saw a thing on social media today. Someone said, I own Casio, but I don't use it much because I haven't figured out the basics. Is there a comprehensive tutorial? I'm not ready to embrace a subscription until I understand it can work with the core features. So, Nick, here is a potential here.
Sure. Potential
What are you
sale
going?
of the subscription.
How are you going to sell them on this?
Sure. So the best way is to start out in our help section. So go to the More tab, scroll to the bottom, help and support. When that pops up, there's documentation for almost everything in the app. You can search for things. You can search for, there's a beginner tutorial. Again, we can always improve on things. It's usually just me writing the documentation. Recently, I got some of my beta testers to help. But yeah, we try to make it as comprehensive as possible and to help all levels of geocachers. So that's the first place to start. The second place is going to the Facebook group. So there's a Cachly Facebook group that some of dedicated fans created. And so we have about 4,500 users on there. So a lot of people to answer your questions if they have them. And I'm on there too, and I'll answer questions. And there's also support forums, Cachly.com. You can go to the forums if you have questions in that way. So, and then the last way is just to send an email to support, which is in that help and support tab in Cachly. So lots of ways to do it. One thing that I still have on my list, my long list of things to do, is to make some tutorial videos. But I've thought about that for like 3 years and it's never happened. So that's something that I still want to do as a way to, just have a quick onboarding in video form. But yeah, so that's the long answer.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So good
and
luck.
there's a difference between beginning geocacher or beginning like Cachly user, because some people will just get on the app store and they'll search for geocaching and be like, hey, I want to get into geocaching, and they'll download Cachly, and then they'll be, they're not a premium member, and Cachly has restrictions, from the API. If you're a regular geocaching member, you don't get as many caches to load. It's just the restrictions the HQ has for partner apps. So if you're a beginning geocacher, I always recommend start out with the official app. That's totally fine. And when you're comfortable, then you can graduate to something like Cachly. We do offer tons more features, but they're just going to be confused by these restrictions right off the start that, is kind of hard to explain. And it's hard to explain that, like, I don't own geocaching itself. Some people are confused by that when they first start. They're saying, what can you change my password? Can you do these things? And I'm like, there's a difference between Cachly and the geocaching HQ company.
Right.
So again, that's sometimes people that just get into geocaching right from the App Store, they don't realize that difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Chad, correct me if I'm wrong. GeoGo had the Delorme and the counties already, right?
It has the counties for sure. I'm not
counties.
100% on the Delorme.
Okay.
So I haven't been tracking the Delorme, so I have been tracking my counties on GeoGo.
I know a big one's. I know GeoGo big updates coming. I know that's coming for the Android users.
Yeah, if it's not in,
It hasn't come
I'm sure we got some listeners on here that are GeoGo pros. I'm not a GeoGo pro. I use it, but I there are certain features that I definitely use, like the county maps database and having things.
Oh,
Okay, so Gundark says that it has Delorme now.
So Nick, I love that you're updating, keeping up with it, and keeping up with, obviously they're not really your competitor because it's iPhone and Android, but like you're saying with that. I mean, did you do that yourself? Or do you look at your other competitors, I guess, for
absolutely. Yeah, I have an Android phone. I've loaded up GeoGo before and checked out the features, and he has some really great features. He has probably more features than Cachly has.
Yeah, it's a great app.
Really great app. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Nick,
kudos to him for all the features that he has. Yeah.
Jessie may be super excited about the maps because she's a big map nerd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love maps too.
You're a big map nerd too? Yeah.
Yeah, I love maps.
I'm not a map nerd. I'm an auto load nerd is what I am.
Mm-hmm.
And you give me the auto load and I'm a very happy man. Because when I'm driving, and I gotta scroll and then push the button and scroll and push the button, it's like an accident waiting to happen. Yeah. So I love the auto load, dude.
Good. And I hope it's working well for you. We tried to test it. See, the thing with development is you test for years, and then you release something and somebody finds a bug right away.
Yeah.
And so there was a bug in auto load and it just made me mad. So I got that fixed right away. But yeah, I'm glad you're liking it.
For anybody who has caching, you're like, hey, auto load's not working. You got to push and hold on the button. You got to push and hold on the refresh button to get it to load.
There's also an on-off switch in settings.
Oh, is there?
The one you're describing is the quick toggle. So.
Yeah, the quick toggle. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, is it in settings? I just quick toggled. That's what I did.
Yeah, it's in settings. It's for some people don't realize you can long press on things on the iPhone.
Yeah.
And some people it's like second nature just to try it everywhere because there's a lot of places in Cachly, like for example in the live and offline where there's a filter icon, you long press on that and it will toggle on and off. So things like that, it's all over Cachly for long press.
Yeah, GeoGo has a lot of long press items and stuff that I wasn't aware of until someone pointed it out to me.
Yeah, and those are the kind of things that I need to document better because those are the things I forget to document that people might not realize are there.
Mm-hmm. I feel like long press is the equivalent of right click, and I am a huge right
essentially.
clicker.
Yeah. And on the computer, you're just so used to trying it everywhere. You're like, there might be a menu there, there might be a menu there. Same with long press,
But yeah, I love auto load has been something that I've been waiting for Cachly for a while. And I think you couldn't do it, right? You were having issues for a while with it, weren't you?
Well, I said I didn't want to do it because I was concerned about it using all the allotment of caches that you have for the day. So, but a while back, HQ they bumped that up. So I think you can download 10,000 light caches and 16,000 full caches. So that's quite a lot. However, if you sat there and tested it all day long and scrolled through some really, really dense areas for hours and hours, you might hit your limit on light caches and you might need to turn on full cache data. Right. And then you could continue loading them. But yeah, there's still the restriction that I am only loading a max of 100 caches for every API request, whereas the geocaching app, the official app, I think loads 500. So they can just quickly grab a huge area of caches.
Yeah. That limitation annoys some of us who are GSAC users who have built up a database of 100 miles surrounding you. You got 30,000 caches or something like that in there, and you're wanting to refresh every once in a while, refresh everything to see what's been archived, get those things out of your list, and it gets annoying. and then when I'm doing my planning and stuff for mega events and stuff, so the things that I know that I might have corrected coordinates for, such as mysteries, multis, where I goes, etc. I will select only those because there's a lot fewer of those, and tell it to do me an update on those. But eventually, I will also go back and do a complete refresh because things get archived, and I've been to too many caches where it was archived the week before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Sorry, we're going off a Cashly subject.
No, we can go off on a tangent. No big deal.
So, Nick, what made you think of this one?
Which one?
Got integrated into it is the Where I Go. You could actually, what is it? You could download Where I Go cartridges within Cashly.
Well, almost within Cashly.
Almost.
You need to have the official Where I Go app installed. Okay. And there's a way in iOS where you can open another app. So basically, I pass the GC code to the Where I Go app, and then it will prompt you to download it. So,
but is it?
It's integrated with that.
Is it working?
Well, as we mentioned before we started, so I actually help HQ with the Where I Go app, and we forgot to update it with a new API change, which is just completely bananas because myself and HQ forgot about it. But yeah, so I just fixed it this last week and sent it off to HQ. So I'm hoping it will be in the App Store really soon. So I will blame it on myself that I'm the one that caused the problem. So
that's one of my favorite features on GeoGo is the Where I Go app and the ability to download cartridges. From there, it's like I no longer have to create a list of a bunch of my cartridges and pull them onto my phone now. So it's like just use the app and it'll do it for me.
Yeah, and even before I did this small update in Cashly in 8.0, it was still painful. Like if you were in Cashly and you looked at a Where I Go cache, there was really no obvious way to download the cartridge. You know, you had to look in the description. Maybe there was the link there, but you click the link, it would probably open a browser, and then you were like, well, how do I actually get this into the app? So there wasn't a lot of integration. So that's what I wanted to fix, because it seemed, especially for kind of beginners that didn't really know what that cache type was, they would just be really confused.
So does it use the user's login and authentication because I know that going to the Where I Go page, I would log in with my geocaching login, and sometimes I would have to do the authentication as well. So you have to go through all that with their login, and you're not using a sock puppet.
No. So the first time you open the official Where I Go app, you'll log in with your geocaching login.
Okay.
And then you'll have a token, and so then there's an API that just downloads the cartridge.
Okay. So, but you do that kind of obscured from the user's view with
not the login. No, not the login. They'll be flipped over to the Where I Go app, and then they'll present it with the regular HQ login.
Okay, so they have to log in once.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe GeoGo did that, and I just forgot about it. It's been a while since the first time I used it.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know how he's doing it too. But yeah, it's nice to have the integrated player in GeoGo.
Yeah. Oh, how he's actually pulling that off.
Yeah. There's an open source. I can't remember what it's called, but there's an open source framework for Where I Goes that somebody wrote. It's so he integrated that, and so I actually looked at one point of seeing if there's an iOS kind of code base that I could integrate, but it was something I decided I didn't want to integrate that into Cashly. I wanted to either make it a different app or enhance the HQ one, and at one point they reached out to me, and so then that's the route that I went.
Well, the HQ one is far better than what they had. It's
we made a lot of improvements to it for sure.
It's way better. It's usable. Dare I say?
Yeah, it's pretty usable. Yeah.
Again, guys in the chat room, all you out there, you got a question for Nick, shoot it in the chat room. I will star it and we'll pin it, and we're gonna get the questions to Nick, your questions to Nick very, very soon after we're finished going through this. Nick, online drafts. Let's talk about that. How has that changed? Didn't you have online drafts already?
Well, you could post a log as a draft.
Yes.
But then you'd have to go to the website and actually see all the drafts. So now the list of drafts and editing them and adding photos and then actually publishing that as a log is in Cashly. So that was the component that was missing before.
Nice. I never read drafts. So. Okay.
I don't really use drafts either, but I know I do know a lot of people like them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People actually do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, I mean,
it's
it's a good thing. I think there's too many people that rely on like Cashly's pending logs feature, which just saves it in the database. I had a user said they had 750 pending logs just within Cashly, and I thought, what if somebody stole your phone? You wouldn't have all those. But if you did them as drafts, those would be kind of saved in the cloud on geocaching.com site.
So now are they saved in the cloud?
Well, they always were when you submitted a draft, but you couldn't then review them and see your list of drafts and edit them or promote it to a log within Cashly.
Mm-hmm.
That component was missing until 8.0.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just found a new thing in GeoGo.
Side tangent.
So I got a Project GC link in here. It opens Project GC inside of
really? Oh, look at that.
Inside of
sounds like a feature request. Actually, I was thinking that.
Nick?
I was actually thinking that earlier when I was playing around,
and
I opened the checker from within. It would be nice to open like an internal browser, run the checker, and like copy and paste that script, the output script, so that you can then use that in your log.
Yeah, and I actually had somebody mention that the other day, that they wish that there was a way to do Project GC checkers. So it's something I'm going to look into. The only place I do have Project GC integrated is if you go to user profile, you can see their Project GC user profile, but that's not anything too special. So
got Messenger in here too now.
Oh, really?
Well, that must be a web view because HQ doesn't allow that.
Yeah, they won't allow
API.
that. Yeah, that was Nick's.
Okay.
Yeah,
just like Cashly has it, just pops up in a web browser, and then we use their
Okay,
web
so I think on both of those, it's doing it's using the app as a web browser.
Yeah.
So because
if he was doing anything different, he would get in trouble because HQ has not released that API to partners.
That's all that's keeping
that I know of, unless I'm left out of the game.
It looks like it is the web page in a mobile version.
Yeah, which you don't have the notifications like when somebody sends you a message. If you don't have the HQ app installed, you won't get anything. So there's no integration that way.
Someone send me a message.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
I'm not sending a message. Send you. I don't have it open. But literally, that's the only thing that keeps that app on my phone.
One of our users will send me. I'll get 30 messages from the users.
You're gonna get over the next like 2 weeks, Jack, because people who are like at work are like, "Oh, I'll send you that message." We're just talking to the live audience, guys. Anybody listening at work right now? We're talking to the live audience.
Trust me, since my virtual went live, my message count has dramatically increased.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Ever since I put up my virtual, it's like I get emails constantly. Yeah.
Hey, 3 things I wanted to make sure I mentioned about Cashly Pro.
Go ahead.
So I didn't want to keep off the launch of 8.0 any longer. I had 3 features that are going to be part of Pro, but I've announced that they'll be in 8.1. So
okay.
That is CarPlay.
We can talk about those now. Okay.
So CarPlay, I'm going to be building a CarPlay for Cashly.
CarPlay.
Yeah.
Hooray.
So
yay.
Yeah. So I waited forever. I submitted an application just years ago, probably 3 years ago, and just never heard back from Apple until December, I think. So finally got permission to use that. You have to have a special file that they give you. You can't even test the code until they give you the special file. So that will be coming in 8.1. Also, multi-user logging.
Oh.
Yeah. People had requested that for a long time, and they would always say like, looking for Cache has this multi-user logging, and why doesn't Cashly? And I never really saw a use for it. I understood it, but I was like, I don't have time. Until my son wanted a geocaching account.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Dad, I want to log my fine. And I'm like, I got to log out of my account.
Right.
You got to log into yours. he would log his fine and be like, okay, let me do mine. I would have to log out of mine or his and then log into mine. I was like, yeah, okay, this really makes sense. So finally, when it
if
becomes
benefits
necessary for
you,
me,
yeah, when Nick needs it, that's when we get it. Unfortunately,
yeah. So that will be coming in 8.1. So that'll be nice. We can use things like templates and keywords, and you can load as many users. Well, there'll probably be maybe a limit of 10 users that you can include in the logs.
That's kind of awesome. So I don't have to log anymore. Jessica can log for me.
Yeah.
That's Cody says Scott on your account.
Yeah, you could put friends on there and just log stuff for them. They could be like a couch geocacher.
I could just like drive and like not even have to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that could be handy for the driver.
Yeah, I don't have to log anything.
That's true.
Come
That's true.
ET, I'm set. I'll just drive. ET highway.
Yep.
That's
and the last one that's coming in 8.1 is location tracking / importing, exporting. So some people wanted to import a track file where you can see like a route on a map and then they could follow that route maybe from a friend. And some people also wanted to be tracking their location if they're wandering in the woods and then they're like, how do I get back to my car? That sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is awesome.
Tracking is always good. Yes.
Yeah. So that'll be
the newbies. Yes.
Yeah. That'll be the third feature. So and at that point, I think that Cachly Pro will be very well rounded. We'll have some really big features that I think will entice additional users. Even those users that said, "Oh, it's very US centric." I think those 3 features are definitely not just US. So I think hopefully, other countries will want to jump on board.
So CarPlay will be in Pro, right? CarPlay. These will all be Pro.
Yeah.
Okay. So Pro will be pretty much. You want to do most things, you're going to want to go Pro.
Yeah, but I mean, I tell people, Cachly didn't have Pro before 8.0, so there's a lot of things in Cachly that you can still do. It's still very powerful. There's still tons and tons of features. So I would encourage people to upgrade, but I don't want anybody to think that the whole app has gone to just Pro.
Right. Sure, because it has not.
Yeah, it'll be the big features. There'll still be small features included that get for everybody, and there was in 8.0. If you go to our blog post, there's probably 50 or 60 features that were also included.
Oh, there's a whole tiny little things. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're small, from changing the coordinate formats to multiple formats, and you long press, and then it will pop up a little list and you can choose from the kinds you want, things like that. They're not really big features that I want to advertise too much because they're kind of boring, but they do enhance the user experience.
It's nothing boring if it's helping them.
Well, that's true. They're boring to talk about on podcasts.
So let's talk. I know. Let's talk cost here about Cachly Pro. Okay. So it's been, my God, how long has Cachly been out for? Just out of curiosity.
I launched it in 2015.
Okay, so I've been using Cachly for what is that? 9 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Awesome.
9 years. God, Lord.
Yeah.
So I paid $5 9 years ago. So I definitely got my money's worth. Is there still a cost to download? Is it still $5?
Still a cost to download because, well, number one, we do need that revenue in order to keep things going at Cachly for sure.
Sure.
And you are not allowed to. I think on the App Store you're not allowed to change your pricing model from paid completely to free. I think that's what, and
Really?
then add subscriptions. There's some kind of thing there. They want you to release it as a brand new app, as a brand new free app. So that'd be kind of a sticking point because I have a lot of things like all the reviews are tied to Cachly, and my ranking in the search of the App Store is tied to those reviews. Things like that I don't want to lose, those kind of things.
Of course.
And I still would like to have the purchase for the product, because when you go to a free app, you get everybody downloading it, people that aren't geocachers, people that have no clue about geocaching, and then they run into maybe the HQ restriction of basic users, and then they leave bad reviews because they don't understand the product in the first place. So it's kind of deterred those kind of things.
Well, it's an amazing product even without Pro. It's a fantastic product.
Yeah, I agree.
Even without the Pro stuff. But let's talk about the Pro pricing, because there is pricing for this. So
there is.
Monthly, you've got $1.99 a month.
Yep.
Yearly, $14.99 a year.
Yep.
And then you also have an offline maps only deal for $4.99 a year.
Yep. So obviously the yearly is cheaper, but I do have some people that went with the monthly. Not sure why, but that's okay.
Okay. God bless.
Yeah. And then the people that just want maps, again, that cost really helps with paying for the infrastructure for offline maps, for building new ones, and the bandwidth and the storage.
You
So
only want maps. Well, I mean, if you want maps, you're probably doing counties and regions or Delaware.
yeah, and obviously the monthly and the yearly, the actual full pro includes maps.
But I get it. I mean, my guess would be, I mean, you're going to have the season cachers working on counties and Delaware.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the vacation cachers, like you, Nick, no offense,
No.
are going to be hitting. You're not hitting counties. It's not on your radar, is it? Is counties on your
for
radar?
for testing purposes?
Yeah.
That's really the only reason.
Delaware pages on your radar. I'm assuming no. Aside from testing.
Not in my personal caching.
Right.
No.
Yes. So I see. I guess for the unseasoned cachers, for the vacation cachers, yeah.
I would
that's a good
consider
option.
myself a vacation cacher or a hiking cacher.
Yeah, that's a good option, I guess. Yeah, so so you're not forcing them to pay $15 a year.
Sure.
Yeah,
there's plenty of good features in Cachly without this subscription.
Oh, absolutely. But the offline maps are nice when you're someplace that you don't have internet. That's kind of nice. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. And that's US prices. We go to I guess I could do like $159 a month in, what is that, Great Britain, right? Is that pounds?
I think in the pounds is it 1-to-1? Somebody said
$159 a month, $11.99 a year, and $3.99 a year.
Oh, you got onto my help page, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. And there's been some variations. I've changed some pricing because people pointed out that the conversion rate that I used from Apple was like really high for certain countries. I think it was a bunch of the countries that used euros. So I actually just manually adjusted it for all the countries that use euro, because for whatever reason, Apple just did a conversion that was way higher than it should have been. So, and I can fix those kind of things if there's discrepancies that come up.
Oh, Cody Dog says in the chat room, Delorme and County might make me go pro. That says something because he's notoriously cheap. So.
And remember, there's a 7-day free trial. So
and
people can try it out. Yeah.
Also, Cody, just plan it out when you're ready to go, and then hit it, and then go do it.
Give it a try.
And say nothing.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about subscriptions is you can do that trial period, whereas you can't do that with an app purchase. I can't say like you can trial Cachly for 7 days, and if you don't like it, then it disappears.
Right.
So
download it on the honor system.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to some questions from the chat room here in the few minutes we have left here. Here we go. Sean Witchley says, my favorite Cachly feature I discovered last year was the log templates. Now my favorite feature on top of it is to set templates to apply automatically. Log type and then save the log locally.
Yep.
I don't understand that. What is he doing there?
So he's creating a log template that is tied to a log type. So if you do a find it log, it'll insert that find it template right away. If you do a DNF log,
oh right,
and you attach it and you go to a cache, you hit DNF, it'll insert that text right away. So you could just go and not write any text really, and just choose your various log types and have things pre-written.
I gotta set that up.
Yeah.
I'm typing. I only have like found it. My DNFs I have to manually type, but
yeah. And you can also do text templates that aren't tied to any log type, so that you can insert them manually into a message whenever you want to.
Yeah, typing is for suckers. Yeah,
it's true. I always just do voice dictation, so much easier.
Oh, look at you, voice! Wow.
If you're within cell range, if you're out in the woods, it doesn't work.
Scott just needs to put in there, geocaching is fun.
Whee!
Yeah.
Kevin in the chat room, Nick, how many users are on Cachly?
Oh, I can't say that.
I didn't think.
I think somebody could do the math if I said that. The thing is, they come and go. Some people over the years, might stop using it. They might stop geocaching. So if I would be honest, I don't probably have a true number of how many people are maybe using it completely, because there's also activity. Like somebody might be really active a certain time of the year and not another time of the year. So even the statistics I get from Apple, it's probably not a very well-rounded number, So.
Can you see subscriptions like now that you have them?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously you see when people download it and pay for it. Obviously.
Yeah.
See all that.
Yeah. And the interesting thing I was actually telling my beta testers today is that the subscriptions, the percentage in Europe is actually higher than the United States, and everybody thought that would be swapped, so that people would want subscriptions more in the United States, and people in especially Germany. I've been told by my German beta tester that they're very leery of subscriptions for whatever reason. They don't like getting into doing subscriptions. So it was interesting to see that Germany was, I think, the first most popular country for subscriptions in Europe. So, yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of good things for to hate about subscriptions. There's
Sure.
the 1 month free, and then they start bang bang bang, and unless you remember to turn it off.
Turn it off.
And,
Yeah. And I've run into that myself. I've done that
Right.
with, non-iOS things, and you're like, oh shoot, forgot to cancel that thing. It's so frustrating.
Right.
Yeah.
Pro tip: put it on your calendar, on
That's what I do.
whatever
Yeah.
calendar you use,
That's what I
and
do.
to alert you beforehand.
A week before. Yep, that's what I do for Sirius XM and all those.
And another thing with iOS, it will charge you at the start of the subscription after the 7-day trial. So there was one lady saying, I really don't like subscriptions. What can I do? And we said, you can just get the subscription, wait till it bills you, and then you can cancel it because you still have the subscription period. But at the end of the year, she'll set a reminder for herself. She didn't want that auto renew subscription. She just wanted the year.
Right.
So you would still have the year of the subscription, but then it would, either disappear or she need to renew before it ran out. So
yeah, it's that auto renew, forced auto renew.
There's some negatives about that for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's used in many places in life now.
Warren says, will there ever be a time, or is there a way to download a portion of a satellite map for offline use?
Yes, I have spent way too much time investigating that topic. And there is so much data out there. There's like Landsat, there's open source imagery, but it is not very high resolution. So in order to do it, and to do it right, you would have to either purchase something from higher resolution satellites or wait till a government entity gives it away for free, because I can't even remember what resolution it is currently, but it's very zoomed out. So it'd almost be kind of useless, at least the sources that I've found.
Yeah, keep in mind that our satellite views are not from satellites. They're images from aircraft.
Yeah.
So
for the really zoomed in stuff.
Yeah, so at a much lower altitude, and so that's how we get the really high quality satellite view. And by the way, I'm doing air quotes for our listeners.
Yeah, well, that's probably why they don't have the free, really high res stuff, because it's not using an airplane. It is the satellite, and it only goes to a certain extent of zoom.
Right.
So I definitely, it's something I'm very interested in. I would love to have offline satellite maps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't want to pay big bucks to some company for it and then charge my users some huge amount of money either. I want to find a free source for it and then host it somewhere.
Yeah, I would say, like all the rest of us, use it sparingly when you absolutely need to. You can't find that cache and you're not sure, and pull up a satellite image and say, "Oh, that's that tree over there."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If the coordinates are accurate.
If the coordinates are accurate, yeah. There's always that.
The chat room is buzzing about the Android version, Nick.
Not of Cashly.
Every time we have Nick on this show. Every time.
No, sorry to disappoint. There is no secret Android version.
In the works. It's a secret. Nothing. No.
Nope. Nothing.
Go to GeoGo, guys. GeoGo.
Yeah, go use GeoGo.
My heart.
Happy to recommend
it.
This is a good question, Nick. We're gonna see if you thought through everything.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready for this question?
Yes.
Is Cashly 8.0 colorblind friendly?
I have that question a lot, and it usually centers around the color of cache pins. So if that is the case, our recommendation is to always use the tool in iOS for color blindness, and that usually helps people. But I have had requests to allow custom colors on the pins, and it's something I still have on my list of features to add. So no, you can't change the pins currently to customize colors, but I would like to add it in the future.
So, but you're saying, but in the meantime, go to iPhone has a
Yeah, they have a lot of accessibility tools, and people said
Use
that they use them and it does help. But I think it's blues or maybe the green shades. It's hard to differentiate between them for somebody that's colorblind. And even with the iOS accessibility, it doesn't make it perfect. So, and some people have different disabilities where it might be different than another person's. So it's not a one fits all sort of thing. So is the way I understand it.
Yeah, I thought you had the ability to color some pins. Shortiness, didn't you do that with some?
You can do highlights, so you
Yeah,
can
you can do
highlight
a
pins,
highlight.
but not actually change the whole pin color.
Okay.
It like puts a bar across it
Yeah.
of whatever color you choose.
Okay.
But you can still see the pin behind it, so you can tell what cache type it is.
Gotcha.
Escape from Flatland says, I have an Android, but on a recent road trip, I helped Scorpio Red troubleshoot importing GPX files. It's so easy. Why would you have to troubleshoot anything?
There is bugs, trust me.
I enjoyed the interface experience and would like to beta test your future Android version.
Well, if you're a developer, contact me and maybe you can build the Android version.
You can talk them through it.
Yeah.
Okay, silly question here from Gary B. How do you upgrade to Pro?
Just either access a Pro feature, such as trying to go to offline maps and download them, and it will pop open the Pro dialog, or just tap on the More tab, and there's a row at the very top just says subscribe to Pro.
Yeah, I think that's what I did. I think I typed the More. Yeah, something like that. I found it really easy. I didn't have an issue.
And most of the things that have Pro, like the Delorme and the counties, there's a little indicator next that says Pro. So, and again, if you tap on one of those features, it would pop up in the subscription dialog. Yeah.
And don't be scared when a week later you suddenly get the bill because
there is a 7-day free trial. Yeah.
We were talking about that offline. How suddenly I got this bill. I'm like, what is this for?
Yeah.
You should have the option to skip that. Do you want a 7-day free trial, or you just want to jump right in?
Yeah.
Many of us would just jump right in.
You're right. I could do that. I could add another different subscription, but I have to create a different subscription from Apple, and it'd be a big pain.
Write it down, Nick.
Okay, noted in my brain.
Do you have Kevin? Do you have the Arizona Delorme in there?
No. Let me look.
Oh, he doesn't know offhand.
I don't have everything memorized because there's a lot of. There is the Arizona Delorme, yes.
Okay, good to know. Sean wants to know, I have an M1 Mac and was trying to get Cashly to download. It isn't available. So do you have plans to make it available on a Mac?
I have dabbled with a Mac version, not just like a M1 version that looks like the iPhone version, but with an actual Mac version. Really? So, yeah.
That would be awesome.
I'm Googling what an M1 Mac is.
It's just their native M1 chip. It's the chip that Apple created themselves.
Yeah. This.
So.
Okay.
This is an M1 Mac chip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's something I would love to do because obviously I'm a Mac user and I would love to have it on the Mac. But it's not taking precedence or priority over any other features that I'm working on.
Not over the.
I would definitely like having it on the Mac. I do a lot of the trip planning and stuff.
Sure.
Sitting in front of the computer with a bigger screen and more options. So it would be helpful and handy to have it.
I think at that point I would have to figure out how to do better syncing of like offline lists, because currently offline lists don't sync between devices. Right. And I think if that was what was happening, I would need to do syncing. So I need to build a whole nother architecture for how that works. Yeah.
Okay, moving right along. Here's a nice one from Neltra. When I was getting a new phone a few years ago, my decision to get an Apple iPhone was driven by Cashly, of all things. How about that?
That's nice to hear.
I paid for Pro right away. I can't wait for 8.1 for CarPlay.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Thank you.
Apple should thank you, Nick.
They should. They should give me that $9.99.
That being said, yes, I would never switch to Android just because of Cashly. Although GeoGo is a close second there. Cody Dog wants to know, what is Apple CarPlay going to look like? Is it like navigation only, or what's the option? What's that working with?
So it's only been conceptualized mainly in my mind, but I was approved for a navigation app, which means I can put custom maps in there. It could be I could put my offline maps in there. So we can have pretty much any customization to the maps that I want to build in, I can do. Then there'll be things like online lists, offline lists, obviously navigating to those caches, be able to find caches and then log them through voice. So that'll be one thing. Really, I'm just kind of actually I posted a question on our Facebook group today, like what people would like to see, because I really have a limited number of what they call templates for CarPlay. So you can't just do anything and build any interfaces. You have to use Apple's interfaces because they have restrictions for being in the car, and they have to be like large enough to enable to in order to see them. So there is some restrictions in that way, but I think I can be pretty flexible with the features that I create. But again, I would love user input on it.
Yeah, I saw that. That what you said, what you put on Facebook today. I saw that. Okay, and to follow up with that, the last question we have: CarPlay auto load.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, definitely. I mean, that definitely is a no-brainer. You want to drive around and have them load as you're driving. Yeah.
Well, what is that?
So just as you're driving, your map is scrolling along and new caches are loading. As you're coming to a new area.
Loading as you drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just like it does on the phone, it will do it on. Okay, would that be automatic, or would you have to have it on here set up to do it?
No. I mean, to get CarPlay, you would have to be a pro user anyway. So, but the settings wouldn't sync. So if you have it on your phone,
okay, so you'd have to.
It would probably always be on CarPlay.
Oh, would it always be okay?
Probably, because you don't want to interact with your screen very much on CarPlay.
No.
So if you were tapping refresh, that actually might be grounds for like Apple saying you can't do that because they want to minimize the amount of distraction.
Yeah, have you never gig apped DoorDash or Uber Eats, dude?
No, I live in the
they
forest.
try and murder you. That's the
I live in the forest.
Okay, Nick, anything else we want to talk about this? We're over time here, running out of time. We're over time. Anything else you want to talk about? The hard sell right here.
No hard sell. I just wanted to say thank you to especially my beta testers and all the help they've given me over the years. They give me an incredible amount of help. We have a private Slack group that we're always talking. They're posting bugs. I'm working to fix those. They're, helping me out with things like documentation, especially answering questions on the user forums, as well as probably hundreds or thousands of other people that are also helping on there. So I appreciate their help very, very much. And also my my volunteer translators that have translated to various languages for Cashly. So I really appreciate their help. So just want to say thank you to all those people.
And do we have a time? I can't remember if you did. I don't think you did, but I think we did it online. Did we get a time for 8.1, or is there no?
Not currently. Right now I'm focusing on fixing the various bugs that people have found.
Okay.
Once that's done, I will branch that off and I'll start on the 8.1 features. Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Me too.
Jesse, anything else you want to ask Nick before we get off?
No, I mean, and I think I speak for many, many people, and just thanking you as well, for keeping this awesome app going all these years and listening to, the users, and obviously incorporating a lot of our ideas into what you do. It really has changed caching, I think, for a lot of people, and it helps, guide what we're doing and where we're going and how we're caching. And it's really great. So thank you.
Absolutely. Glad to hear it.
Absolutely. Chad, anything, or he's an Android user.
Get that phone working.
I definitely appreciate the features for all my iPhone users out there. I've pushed, I push your app hard to anyone who, when people ask me, what app should I use? You got newer cachers and stuff. If it's like, what type of phone do you have? And if they say an iPhone, it's like, go get Cashly.
Mm-hmm.
If they have an Android, I say, go get GeoGo.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two really became like they Cashly. I mean, Cashly's always been better than the regular app, but GeoGo really upped his game, and he really like rising to the top. In terms of just what he's been doing with that app is pretty amazing.
And I hope he's able to compete with CGO, because that's a difficult thing. because they're
it's
not
a-
an API partner and they don't follow the rules, and so
Right.
they can do things that we can't, and so he has a hard competitor there.
Yeah, and they're free. So
And free.
that's that. I will say for offlining, CGO is. I've had better experience with CGO, but then again, I have been using CGO for almost
Years and
14,
years and
almost
years.
14 years.
Yeah.
Back when Carmack or whatever the guy's name that originally created CGO before the group of developers took it over when the original person dropped it. So
Yep.
so I long time
Wow.
user of it, but I've been moving more and more over onto GeoGo, and I'm definitely enjoying it. There's definitely some features that I will 100% I will only go to GeoGo for. But sometimes when I've got a big list and stuff, for quick and dirty, I sometimes go back to my old habits of CGO.
Old
Sure.
habits.
It's like I know where it is in here.
I've been using Nick for 14 years. Is that what we said? How long have you been since 20?
No, since
9
No,
years.
no, no,
9
9
years.
years.
2015.
9 years.
Yeah,
9 years I've been. I mean, I was
Mm.
singing your praises before I ever met you, Nick. I
That's
was
very
singing
kind.
your
Very
praises
kind.
on
Well, we
this
need to meet
show.
in person sometime.
I know we never have we?
Yeah. No,
I don't think we ever
come
have.
over to the West Coast.
The West Coast.
Yeah,
Oh.
come to HQ sometime and we'll meet up.
I was at HQ.
Well, where was I?
I don't know. I was there 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we were at the Big Bash. That's
I was
we
there.
Yeah.
we didn't run
Don't
into
tell me you
you.
were there and I missed you.
No, but I did have a Cashly meetup, like a little south of there. Had a bunch of my beta testers come. We had pizza.
Aw.
So
Yeah, but was I not allowed? I don't think I was invited.
no, it was just beta testers that were in the area. So
Someone says, "Will Nick be at Geo Woodstock?"
no,
You know,
not gonna be there.
You're not a big.
I used to do a bunch of megas to
Mega
promote
guy.
Cashly, and I used to pay for promotion to be like one of their sponsors. And then I realized how much money it cost to be sponsors at those kind of events. So I stopped doing that. So,
But you just
as people know about Cashly now, back then they didn't know about it as much. So it was probably a good thing then, but not anymore.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows now. Yeah. Nowadays. Yeah. I think you're pretty well known now.
Yeah,
you
I
were
hope
the little
so.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Nick, it is always a pleasure to have you on this show.
Thank you. Pleasure to
I
be here.
always try and get you on once a year just because you're awesome and it's fun to talk Cashly. And it's fun to pick your brain because you make my favorite app. By far, it's my favorite app on my phone. So
That's good. I enjoy answering questions.
oh well, we enjoy asking you questions. We enjoy that you listen to us. That's what that's what makes, and I've always said that's what makes Cashly awesome is that I can send Nick an email, and I will say this: years ago, I was laying in bed on Thanksgiving morning, and Jesse, I had an idea, and I shot Nick an email, and the guy literally emailed me back on Thanksgiving Day.
I was at my sister's house, and I got the email, and I emailed you back.
He literally emailed me back on Thanksgiving Day. I'm like, what is he doing?
did.
Email me back. I think. Yeah, so I'm like, that is awesome. That is customer service. When literally the guy who creates it emails you back. That's awesome.
Yep.
Are you still a one-man gang? You were a one-man gang forever.
For support stuff, yeah.
Oh,
For actual support emails and everything, yeah.
Insane, man. Farm that out.
It got a little intense when I launched 8.0. So it's quieted down a little bit, which is good.
Nick, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, buddy.
Thank you.
Stay right there, right? Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. Chad, you got to get on the iPhone, kid. Come on, man. It's been 9 years. It's time. Join us.
And Android
Join
for
us.
life. So I will get.
That's what Jesse said. Guess what she's on now? Jesse, pick up your phone and show the.
There you can see.
So there was a close call of me going Apple when looking for jobs. So,
Well, that's because you applied at Apple.
yeah, but yeah, didn't get the job. So
Oh yeah. So we're stuck. He's stuck with the Android because he didn't get
That's
the Apple
right.
job. Oh, that would have been such irony and such. Oh, that would have been awesome. If you
I'm very pleased with my Switch.
with your
Just
Apple Switch.
saying, Chad.
Yeah,
I hear
you
you.
switched a long time ago,
I switched, gosh,
years
20
ago.
2016, 2016 probably.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because you were using CGO too before
Yeah.
we met. You were using.
Yeah. Now I have a Mac on my desk. I have an iPhone. I mean, I'm just like, phew.
Yeah.
Put a big Apple sticker on my forehead. Might as well.
Chad, next week
Mhm.
it is a new month.
Yes, it is.
A new month.
That means it's time for.
Time for Cash or Coffee.
Yeah.
Phone lines will be open next week. Oh, Cody says I converted him too. See, look at that. I'm good. Yeah. Next week is Cash or Coffee, guys. So it's gonna anything you guys want to talk about. Phone lines will be open. We already have some stuff to talk about, but it's gonna be a good one. So, guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Nick, you're always awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you haven't used Cashy, guys, download the app. It only costs a couple bucks. It's phenomenal. Better yet, get the Pro because Pro is way better. And it's kind of awesome. And Nick's a one-man gang. Support this guy. Come on, the guy's been doing this
Yeah,
for
that's
9
right.
years.
Mhm.
Well, that's why I never have any issues throwing Nick money because I use the app 100% when I cash. So he's made cashing way more fun. So thank you, Nick. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week. Let's close this show. Please join us again every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central as we stream live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on our website, geocachingpodcast.com. The archived video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, make sure you click that subscribe or get notified buttons to know exactly when we go live. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of our show. With tiers starting as low as $5, you will get a ton of additional information, extra video, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Odds Body Company, Practical Geocaching, Art and Crafted, PatTags.com, Geocaching Adventures LLC, and GeoGo. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you guys next week. And we're clear. I just got an email from Aaron from Cody Dog saying, I need a new Cashley t-shirt. Where's your old Cashley t-shirt? I think, if memory serves, I bought a Cashley t-shirt and I think it was too small on me, so I gave it to Aaron, if I recall. If I remember.
Well, now you can buy one straight from the app.
I know, Aaron, you could buy it straight from the app, dude. That
Click
was
on more.
that was my point.
Click
Click
on
on
more.
more.
Go
Thank
down to Cashley Shirts and Swags. Takes you right to the store. You can buy a mug. You can buy a shirt. There's nice hoodies in there now. I'm
The mug
gonna
that
have
I
to get
have,
myself a
the
hoodie.
same, Nick, is it this same mug?
Yeah, it should be.
Same exact mug?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Mhm.
buying this mug.
I think I bought it. I think I bought myself a t-shirt and I bought the mug. Pretty
I don't
sure.
remember.
But there's a camper mug. We might have to buy a camper mug.
There is. Those are pretty cool.
A camper
That's
mug?
pretty nice. Yeah.
Like the kind of metal ones.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah.
like a camper one.
And hoodies and sweatshirts and
Aaron, am I right? Am I correct? Did I give you my t-shirt because it was too small on me? I think that's
I think it might be too small for Aaron now. Because it shrunk, not
What are
because
you
Aaron's
saying?
gotten bigger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think he got taller.
Any chance of making a 20-ounce GCPC mug?
Oh, we can work on that.
We have that? That's
We
not in
have-
that's not
I don't know if we have the bigger one. I don't know if we have a 20 ounce. We can,
Gundog, shoot me an email. I'll add it to the store.
yeah, well,
I'll never remember. Shoot me an
we
email.
could do that.
Now, definitely, I can add that to the store easy. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, guys, Nick, stay right there. Guys, thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys next week. Everybody be well and be safe. Bye-bye.